Well, hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and Geo Collaborate. It is Monday, July 21st, 2025. Boy, the summer is really cranking along. Good news, no hurricanes are out there, no tropical storms. We do have an invest I'm going to talk about here in just a minute, but I did want to talk about a line of severe thunderstorms that's approaching Jacksonville, Florida. Some of these storms could have strong gusty winds, maybe up to 60 miles per hour or so. Let's take this full screen as we talk about this update for the All Hazards Consortium, the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. This is the National Weather Service's high-resolution Doppler radar. You can see Jacksonville, Florida here. You can see the outflow boundary from this line of thunderstorms that's coming in right now. It's 4:11 Eastern Time. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in effect right here for this part of Florida. You can see the yellow box, that's the polygon there. And we could have, it looks like hail less than 3/4 of an inch and winds of 60 miles per hour that are identified by radar. And the radar center is right here in Jacksonville. You can see it right there. And it's moving at a pretty good clip. So it'll be through Jacksonville, but could have some localized flooding as well. This area to the right, this orange polygon, is a special marine warning. So nobody should be out on the water with these line of thunderstorms coming through. So all up and down Florida, it's been pretty impressive thunderstorms today. There's been quite a few around St. Augustine Beach there, headed down the Palm Coast towards Flagler Beach. Some of these had a lot of lightning. Look at that lightning. We have lightning strikes that we can see with the radar data as well. And if I move out just a little bit, you can see these thunderstorms, even north of Jacksonville, some headed towards Brunswick, and that's up towards Georgia, the Georgia coastline here. So just be aware of lightning, and when thunder roars, certainly go indoors. Let me show you, we've been putting together some severe thunderstorm alerts that we can bring to you live here as I pull the radar around. So in Duval, Florida and Nassau, Florida, this warning expires in 17 minutes. There's one for Baker, Florida, Columbia, Florida, and Union County, Florida. That is expires in 32 minutes. In Carson, Texas, there is one down in Carson, Texas. I can hit that one as well. We can take a look at that radar data. This is Carson, Texas, and there's some large hail with this one. That's what the purple is on the radar showing up here. So there could be some flooding with this one. This polygon, again, is a severe thunderstorm warning. So that's what we're looking at over the last couple of hours or so, and we want to get this update out here just to let everybody know it's a severe thunderstorm warning moving through there in Jacksonville. But I do want to widen out here too and show you the tropics, because this update for the All Hazards Consortium really focuses also on monitoring the tropics, seeing if there's any invests out there, any areas of interest that may impact the lower 48, Caribbean islands, Puerto Rico, all those places. And we are seeing an area of interest. And I have a couple of really interesting data layers turned on with this high resolution GOES East satellite image. I have the sea surface temperature data, which you can obviously see where it's warm and where it's cool. But I also have on a new product as well. What you may see here is what looks like radar data. And I'm going to turn off just for a moment the sea surface temperature data here so we can focus on this other data set that looks like radar data. And you can see it across there in South America. You can see it here in Central America. It looks like radar data. And also around this blob of moisture. This is Invest 94L. It's one that the National Hurricane Center has said, you know what, we need to dive in a little bit closer to this and take a look. And you can see this data also circulating around this area. So let's zoom in here to 94L. And I'll take this full screen as well, because I want to tell you about this data that shows up almost like radar data. It's called Gremlin. GOES radar estimation via machine learning to inform numerical weather prediction. How's that for a mouthful? It provides synthetic composite radar reflectivity fields from the GOES ABI, the Advanced Baseline Imager, and the GLM, the Global Lightning Mapper, data fusion using this convolutional neural network. I know, geeky terms, but basically AI that's trained to match the multi-radar, multi-spectral, multi-sensor product, MRMS product. So it's basically responding to information coming from the presence of lightning, cold brightness temperatures from the satellite data, and strong brightness temperature gradients, and two more things, shortwave, long wave differences to see through thin cirrus clouds. They're the really high, thin ones that are composed of ice crystals, and long wave water vapor differences to identify deep convection. So it's basically creating, within the vision of the GOES East and the GOES West satellites, simulated radar, which is really quite fascinating. So what can we do with this gremlin, as we call it? And I'll be showing this, and we'll be testing it out during the hurricane season here to see how it performs. But I want to draw for you here what it looks like. So this is 94L right here. And you can see what looks like radar data. So it's estimating precipitation. So yeah, there are some thunderstorms around here. You can see that. We call that deep convection, but it's very spotty. And I'm not sure why at the very end the radar data pops out. I think it's chugging on the data to create the satellite or the simulated radar data here in the next image. But it's not very organized. You can see that as it moves towards the west. Let me orient you right here. Here's Puerto Rico right here. I just circled Puerto Rico there. And so then we have the islands right down in here, and Barbados is right out in here. So as this tropical wave moves to the west, it's likely going to take a path like this, a forecast path like this, and head into the Caribbean. Now, the good news is that the models do not really strengthen this into anything significant. So we're not going to get into showing you model data. The National Hurricane Center, I'll show you the area that they're concerned of for the development. And they don't even really take it up to the islands with some of its the expected development area over the next 2 to 5 days. I'll show you that on GeoCollaborate here in just a moment. But let me get rid of this drawing. I'll zoom out a little bit in this satellite imagery just so you can see the proximity to land. And again, here is Puerto Rico over here. And then we have the islands stretching right down in here. And here is 94L. So 94L is expected to move like this. Okay, but not really develop into any tropical storm or hurricane. We'll certainly be monitoring this very closely because we want to keep an eye on this, make sure everybody along the Gulf Coast is aware of anything out there, and that's what we're looking at here. You see a little circulation right out in here in the Atlantic. That's just an upper level low pressure system. We actually need an upper level high pressure system and a low altitude or surface low pressure to create any sort of tropical activity. So nothing to worry about there. But the other thing that I want to point out is very interesting. You notice anything like right around here looks kind of milky like this? Look at that. That is dust coming off the African coastline. The Sahara Desert is a lot of wind picking up dust. And typically when we have a lot of dust, we don't have tropical development. We don't have tropical activity. It really suppresses it. The other thing is, I'm going to turn back on the sea surface temperature data so you can see what it looks like. Look at the area where 94L is located, right down here. Okay, I'll draw that in a red circle here. or no, I'll make it green. So this is 94L right in here. This yellow area is the area of dust that's coming off the African coast. And the sea surface temperatures, look at how cool the water is down here in part of the main development region for the tropical systems. So that is also hindering tropical development. And look how low in latitude this tropical wave is. It's only about 12 degrees north latitude. Here, let me do this. Let me also turn on the latitude and longitude lines so you can see what they look like here. There we go. I turned on the latitude and longitude lines, but what I'm going to do is, let me get rid of this drawing because I zoomed in a little bit. I'm going to change the color of the latitude and longitude lines so you can see them. I'll make them orange. There you go. So here is 94L. Let me move it over just a little bit further into the picture here. Here is 94L. It doesn't look very impressive from a convection standpoint, but look at this. This latitude line is 10 degrees north latitude, and here is 20 degrees north latitude right here. This is at about 12 degrees north latitude, so it's very south. It doesn't have the benefit of a whole lot of Coriolis force, and it really doesn't have a lot of upper air support for this system. We see a little bit of outflow there, and maybe some circulation, but it's not closed. And so that's what we look for. And there's no real deep convection, just maybe a couple of spots of thunderstorms here. And so as it approaches the islands, yep, you may get some showers and maybe some thunderstorms with gusty winds, but it won't be anything like a tropical storm or a hurricane. And it doesn't look like it will be developing into such either, as it takes a path through the Caribbean and then down in this direction. So that should be very promising for anybody that's worried about the tropics and these things developing. So I will clear that out, and we'll back out here a little bit on the satellite picture and move to the north. You see I have the latitude and longitude lines on, and we have some, counterclockwise circulation here. There's also the possibility north of Bermuda that off of this front, something may spin up, but it's not going to impact anybody. It's going to be whisked right out to the north. So this is all really good news as far as the tropics are concerned. I'm going to turn off the latitude longitude lines. I'll turn on the sea surface temperatures once again. So you can see we have plenty of warm temperatures in the Gulf here. That's plenty warm. Also in the Caribbean. Look at that, some freshwater drainage from rivers out of South America here. That's giving a little bit of cooler water temperature here out of South America. And then some cold temperatures. Look at that still off of Maine. 80-degree water temperature today in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. Wow, that is pretty warm for this time of year. Normally should be about 74, maybe 75 degrees. Okay, we're going to dive just a little bit closer on the 1-minute satellite imagery because we have a number of thunderstorms here in Kentucky. This is the state of Kentucky. Here's Hopkinsville, Bowling Green, Kentucky, Madisonville, Owensboro here. And you can see a lot of thunderstorms bubbling through the state of Kentucky. And currently, nothing is severe at the moment, but they are producing lightning. So anytime you hear thunder, please go into a place of safety. And don't just stroll. You should really walk briskly or run to a place of safety because lightning can strike 10 to 15 miles away from a parent thunderstorm. So these thunderstorms here are going to be rumbling through Kentucky over the next several hours into the nighttime. It's still warm and muggy down there. And I also want to show you out west. What does it look like out west? This is the Goes West satellite, and you can see what's happening here. Nothing in the way of any atmospheric rivers. That's usually a fall and winter type of pattern. We don't see any of that. And we also have the heat dome that builds in the Midwest right out here. It's going to be very, very hot, and it's going to continue to be hot for the next several days. A heat wave is on its way. Very clear skies. We do have scattered wildfires around as well in parts of Oregon and Washington and California. One other thing of interest for those of you who are interested in Alaska, this is the Goes West satellite. It has a mesoscale sector focused on the Alaskan Peninsula where Anchorage is here. Here is Anchorage. It's cloudy there right now. Here's Seward, Alaska, beautiful town, Kenai and Homer, Alaska. So we can see these clouds moving around at 1 minute intervals. And look at this white area, this whole white area here that you don't see moving. That's because they are glaciers. It's glacial ice. And you can see a lot of that too out here to the northwest of Kenai and the north of Kenai. Also towards Whittier, Wasilla. There's a lot of clouds happening there. But this right here is Cook Inlet. This is Cook Inlet that comes right in and turns into two arms. This is Turnagain Arm here. And this one that goes up to the north is Knik Arm, Knick Arm. And it sort of surrounds Anchorage with these bodies of water. But if you ever have a chance to drive from Anchorage down to Seward, around Turnagain Arm, it is a beautiful drive. You can decide to go towards Homer or go towards Seward. The scenery is just spectacular if you get a chance to go up to Alaska. So switching attention back for a moment to 94L, you can see this is the blended total precipitable water from NOAA's NESDIS division, the Office of Satellite and Product Operations. You can see what's going on here. This right here is 94L. That's the batch of moisture. You can see it's sort of getting elongated somewhat. But that is what we'll be following. But definitely the moisture will be coming over Barbados and also the islands here, the entrance, the gateway to the Caribbean. And as I mentioned, you'll see more humidity, you'll see showers and maybe some thunderstorms as these winds hit the mountains and go up, creating some rain. But it's not going to be anything like a tropical storm or a hurricane. Yes, there may be localized flooding if some of these storms remain somewhat stationary for a couple of hours, but it will not be a tropical storm or a hurricane. Again, it's forecast to make its way into the Caribbean and kind of dissipate. Let me show you GeoCollaborate and what it looks like here and the where the National Hurricane Center is expecting some development. Look at this. This is where the location of 94L is, and look how small the area of development is. Here is Barbados right in here, and here's the small area. If it doesn't make it out of this and develop, it may not be something that develops at all, and the models do not develop it at all. So this is the area of concern for the National Hurricane Center over the next couple of days. I wouldn't worry about it. Anyone in the islands from St. John's all the way down to, Barbados and St. George's, even though this is very low latitude system, it is expected to move to the west, northwest a little bit. At least some semblance of the center. There really isn't a center. It's just kind of a big moisture blob right now. Here is Puerto Rico and San Juan right here. One issue that they are having, particularly on the south end of the island, is sargassum. We're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow or the day after. There's been a lot of sargassum coming ashore in many of the islands and in Puerto Rico as well. And also some of the east coast of Florida down towards Miami and Miami Beach. We've had reports of sargassum, and that should be cleaned off the beach. Hopefully that's something that they really tend to. But down here, look what else we have in Florida. These are heat advisories. Ouch. Here are the severe thunderstorm warnings we talked about at the beginning of this update, and you can see those moving through Jacksonville. It's not going to be a long-lasting storm, but it could be strong gusty winds in there. Let me know what you get if you're watching from Jacksonville. And these heat advisories are going to continue for the next several days because we do have a heat dome, a very major heat dome that's building into the Midwest. And you see the purple areas here. Let me just zoom out and we'll talk about the whole thing here. This is an area that is embraced in heat advisories, extreme heat warnings. Look at this pink area, hot pink area from central Kansas over to Kansas City and into St. Louis. This is going to be a very, very hot period, an extreme heat warning with heat indexes possibly 105 to 110 degrees. So you want to drink a lot of fluids and stay inside if at all possible. For the All Hazards Consortium, anybody transporting goods or services across these areas, make sure your drivers are well equipped to handle this heat. It also extends up into the Chicagoland area. Look at this, an extreme heat watch. So over the next couple of days, this heat dome is going to be building eastward, and it's really going to impact the Midwest with a lot of hot temperatures. And then it's going to move to the east. It feels very comfortable right now in Maine, but the heat is even going to get to you up there on Thursday and Friday. Look, we're talking temperatures close to 100 degrees once again. Richmond, Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Annapolis, Philadelphia, New York. Very hot temperatures are on the way to the East Coast. And in the meantime, to the west, these are red flag warnings. So any type of fire that develops, these red flag warnings are indicating that they could spread very quickly. Okay, moving on to the forecast real quick here. I just wanted to show you what's in store. High pressure is really dominating in the mountainous west here. This is the heat dome that's going to be building in. There are scattered showers and thunderstorms. Pretty strong high pressure system just south of Lake Huron right now, and so it's kind of blocking any precipitation from moving in this area. Let's put it into motion, and I'll show you what it looks like right now over the next couple of days. High pressure taking over in New England, so that's going to be nice for you there. But then it moves off the coast, and the heat and humidity really stick around in the southeast, and that's going to cause a lot of uncomfortableness throughout this time period here. And then storms are going to be moving up and over this high pressure system and back around here. So Florida, yes, you'll have some of those severe storms, but you'll also have just some generally rainy conditions in certain cases. And Florida still in that heat advisory. So these are going to be scattered storms, but also you could see those heavy downpours dropping an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches of rain, causing very localized flooding. And that's something that we have to watch very closely as well. So we put this into motion. You can see these aren't really any organized areas of showers until we get to Friday morning. And that's this frontal system that'll come through and drop some showers, perhaps some storms from Maine down through the Great Lakes here, approaching New York, and also Pennsylvania coming through here. Let's continue that motion through. And we'll have scattered showers and storms. It's nothing real big that's going to last a long time. Just that instability meeting up with all that hot air is going to cause some more storms. Once again, I know Mid-Atlantic, Washington, Baltimore, Annapolis, boy, you really want to dry out. We need some consecutive days of dry weather. And unfortunately, it's not going to be around here during the weekend. Seems like the weekend is when all this happens, seeming like all the time through this summer. But as we continue on into next week, into Monday, you see those scattered storms popping up in the mid-Atlantic because of the warm air, warm temperatures. No real break. There we go. This is the 2-meter temperature forecast from the GFS model, and we'll just take this on into this. Look at the temperatures in the Midwest. This is during the day today. 100 degrees in Oklahoma, high 90s in Texas, stretching all the way up into North Dakota, where we have temperatures in the 80s and 90s. And then as we take that on, it cools off at nighttime. But look at this, 100s all the way through Kansas into Nebraska. And then it's going to spread into parts of Illinois and Chicago. Watch these temperatures on Thursday. This is Thursday afternoon. We're talking temperatures in Chicago of 91 to perhaps 93 degrees in Chicago. Combine that with the humidity, We're talking about heat indexes close to 100 degrees in Chicago. Meanwhile, the hundreds continue in Oklahoma and Texas and the Midwest. And then on Friday, look at this. While the 90s and hundreds continue in the Midwest here, look at the East Coast. Upper 90s in many areas. Richmond up to Baltimore, Washington, Philadelphia. It's going to be very, very hot. Drink lots of water. So that's what we're looking at over the next several days. We're obviously monitoring this 94L in the tropics. It doesn't look like it's going to be anything right now, which is great news. Just some showers and storms for the islands. But National Hurricane Center and the models not forecasting any intensification and not forecasting it to be any large impact in the Caribbean. We'll be watching it as we always do. Thanks so much for watching this update. I'm Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's been an update for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment, and we share information across private and public sectors so we can all be on the same page at the same time. The oceans continue to warm, though, so the fuel is there. Let's just hope that that African dust knocks things down, and it continues that way throughout August and September. The peak of the hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin is the week of September 11th. So we have a long way to go, and we'll be keeping our eyes open for you. Thanks. Stay safe. Please watch out for yourself and watch out for your neighbors. They really do appreciate it. We'll see you later.